Alright guys, today we got the S23 Ultra versus the Note 20 Ultra here. So let's go ahead and start off with the price of both of these phones. So the Note 20 Ultra will cost you around 400 bucks. I suspect this phone to come down in price to around 350 this year, if not even cheaper, as we see the Note 10 Plus come down in price. S23 Ultra, you know, without any trade-ins or anything like that, it's going to be $1,200. So again, very expensive phone here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the hardware of both of these phones. So you can see a big hardware difference here, or just a completely different design here. I do like the design of the Note 20 Ultra. I still think it has a very classy look to it. A lot of people, you know, it seems like 50-50 on the channel. Some people hate it. A lot of people like it. I personally like it. A lot of people don't like this camera bump on the Note 20 Ultra. But I actually like it. Like I said, it looks pretty clean to me. But you guys can see that's probably the biggest difference here in terms of the design here. And also S23 Ultra with the matte finish, so I really like that. It doesn't pick up fingerprints. You have more of a glossy finish. You can see it gets fingerprints on the Note 20 Ultra. As far as the buttons go, as you can see, they're pretty much the same here. The phones, the S23 Ultra is noticeably heavier, so you will notice that instantly. Styluses are both, you know, aligned here on the left hand side. So yeah, they're both IP68 dust and water resistant, but the biggest difference here is obviously the camera design, the matte finish, and it's just overall just a little bit heavier and a little bit more squared off as well too, the S23 Ultra. It is a little bit easier to hold, but also it cuts into the hand more as well, so that's one thing that I noticed there. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about these screens here. So the display on the Note 20 Ultra is a 6.9 inch display, so it's a little bit bigger. I don't know if you guys can tell that, but it is a little bit bigger. It's 120 Hz HDR10 Plus. It's 1440p, 496 for the PPI. The catch with the Note 20 Ultra is it's only 120 Hz at 1080p. It can't do the 120 Hz at the 1440p. The S23 Ultra has a 6.8 inch display, again 1440p, 500 for the PPI. They both look identical at 1440p. As far as the colors on the display, they look identical. They're both curved displays, even though the Note 20 Ultra is slightly a little bit more curved. They dialed the curve back with the S23 Ultra. But the big thing here with the displays is that the S23 Ultra, it can do 120 Hz at 1440p, and it's also a much brighter display at 1750 nits. So if you go outdoors, you will definitely notice that it's just way easier to see. So basically, the displays look pretty much the same. You have to make the decision of, are you okay with the 1080p at 120 Hz? Because I know that's a big thing for Note users. You want to be able to use the phone at max resolution. So again, that's one upgrade. But really, the main screen upgrade to me, because I don't think a lot of people really care about that. The main screen upgrade for me would be the brightness. So if you're outdoors a lot in direct sunlight, the S23 Ultra is just incredibly bright. But yeah, it comes down to that personal preference, guys, because the screens do look identical. And like I said, when you run the Note 20 Ultra at 120 Hz at 1080p, it still looks good and it's still very smooth, so you're not really missing out. So it depends on, do you want to spend that extra money over such a small thing? So it really just comes down to, you know, the personal preference there. How important is your display experience? Alright guys, let's talk about these specs a little bit more here. So on the S23 Ultra, we are running Android 13 One UI 5.1, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and then we also have 512 gigabytes of internal storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. And then we also have no SD card support. The Note 20 Ultra is also running Android 13 One UI 5. And then this phone has the Snapdragon 865 chip on here, micro SD card support. This model right here is 256 gigs and 12 gigs of RAM. So basically, you can see the Geekbench scores here. There is a big score difference, as you can see, especially with the multi-core score. Now, when it comes to, and I would even say if you're a gamer, there's not a really big difference here. Where this new chip comes into play for the S23 Ultra is really battery life. It's not really speed at all. As far as I can tell, the speed difference is extremely minor. The Note 20 Ultra is still blazing fast, and even with PUBG, I'm able to get 90 frames on here, which I'll show you guys. But you guys can see the Note 20 Ultra is like right behind the S23 Ultra. It's just blazing fast still. So if you're thinking you're gonna get a smoother phone or a faster phone, it's gonna be, you know, just super crazy fast. That's just not the case here. And like I said, if you turn the 120 hertz on, it's basically feels the same. Like scrolling, everything still feels really smooth on both of these phones. So again, there's no real speed difference here. Yes, you will, like, if you're looking at benchmarks and stuff like that, of course you're gonna get, you know, crazy benchmark scores. But for the real person, and I would say again, if you're a gamer, I didn't see a big difference here at all. Yes, the AGN2 does do a really good job with gaming remaining cool. But again, is it worth that money? Because it's still, the Note 20 Ultra is still gaming at excellent settings. So it even beat it right there in PUBG. But here's the thing I want to sort of point out here. This phone, or this chip, has really good optimization. So you can see we got 90 frames on PUBG, and we don't have 90 frames on the S22 Ultra or the S23 Ultra. I don't know why they don't optimize these phones as well anymore. I don't know. I actually don't know. But we never got it the whole year. The whole year for the S22 Ultra, I was waiting for 90 frames. It never came. But as far as the gaming experience, like I said, it's pretty much similar. I would not upgrade thinking I was going to get like a dramatically better gaming experience. It's just super smooth, and at 90 frames, it just feels way better than the S23 Ultra and S22 Ultra for that fact. And again, that's not to say anything bad. The S23 Ultra is actually a beast when it comes to gaming in general because of the battery life. It's just going to last much better, and it's a bit cooler as well too. Like, it's actually really cool, which is shocking. Again, if you play games, it doesn't like get hot like that, like I'm accustomed to with a lot of phones. So again, gaming experience, I wouldn't necessarily upgrade for a better gaming experience. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out these speakers. We're at max volume with Dolby Atmos on. We'll start with the S23. Yeah, so the S23 Ultra does have a better speaker than the Note 20 Ultra. It's very close, but there's definitely a fuller and cleaner sound on the S23 Ultra. It has better bass as well too. So overall, it's a pretty nice speaker upgrade. I'm actually surprised, especially compared to the S22 Ultra, which had a terrible speaker. As far as the additional features go, these two phones have pretty much the same additional features as far as the software is concerned. Samsung desktop support, reverse wireless charging, secure folders, basically everything that you would find on the old phone is still here. And also, guys, the stylus, while it is a little bit, you know, on a technical level, it does feel smoother, or it's a little bit more instant, I guess. So if you're really big into digital artwork, you might really like that, but it's just super smooth and instant. The Note 20 Ultra is still very smooth and instant as well, but I'm just saying on a technical level, as far as specs, Samsung said it is a little bit smoother. So you might feel that if you're really into digital artwork. I just use it to like take notes and stuff down, but as far as the software experience goes, it's got all the same stuff, so you're not really missing out on anything as far as the stylus goes. Besides, it's just a little bit more accurate. So here's the big upgrade for a lot of people is the cameras. So you got the new 200 megapixel camera on the S23 Ultra here as the main lens. 10 megapixel periscope telephoto does 10x optical, 10 megapixel telephoto does 3x, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and you have 8K video at 30 frames now, 12 megapixel selfie cam at 4K 60, and then it goes all the way up to 100 times zoom, so you get crazy zoom shots on here, really high quality zoom camera on here. The Note 20 Ultra is pretty solid as well too. It's got a 108 megapixel camera on here as well for the main lens, and it's very nice too. It's not like it's very nice spec wise still. It has a 108 megapixel lens, 12 megapixel periscope telephoto, 5x optical zoom, and it does a 50 times hybrid zoom, so you can go all the way up to 50. And then you also have 12 megapixel ultra wide, 8K 24, 10 megapixel selfie cam with 4K 60. I went and took some side by side stills so you guys could see if it's going to be enough for you guys, you know, to upgrade. Be sure to let me know what do you guys think about the pictures. Alright guys, here's just a little test footage of the S23 Ultra here for the video. The 3x, 10x. As you see, just look at the detail. It's really nice. Very impressive. And we do have a 0.6 on here as well too. So just awesome image quality here, man. Alright, here is the Note 20 Ultra, guys. It's a 0.5. You have 5 times zoom as well. I also want to talk about just some minor stuff that you might be curious about. The fingerprint scanners are both pretty much the same still, so there's no upgrade, and they both have the selfie cam on here. They both have NFC, so again, very similar in terms of specs. I want to go ahead and hit on the battery life right now. So this is actually a pretty big improvement. Yes, the S23 Ultra has noticeably better battery life than the Note 20 Ultra. So typically with my Note 20 Ultra, I'm able to get around 6 hours of screen on time, which is about a day. You can easily get a day and a half, if not 2 days, out of the S23 Ultra. It's very impressive, and it has a lot to do with this new chipset in this phone, and it also just has a slightly bigger battery at 5,000 milliamps. It is 45 watt charging on the S23 Ultra, wireless, reverse wireless charging. The Note 20 Ultra does have a slightly smaller battery at 4,500 milliamps, and then you have 25 watt charging on the Note 20 with 15 watt wireless, and you also have reverse wireless charging. Again, so if you're looking for a pretty good battery upgrade, that's actually one of the things Samsung focused on this year, because the battery life is pretty impressive on this phone. So I was actually pretty impressed with it. So that's pretty much it. So again, not a massive upgrade. I think this one comes down to really the not the display, not the chipset. It comes down to the cameras, and really it comes down to the zoom shots. Do you care about zooming in a lot? Did you find the image quality to be, you know, significantly better? I think that's a big deciding factor. Also, the SD card support as well too. You're gonna miss that as well. Yeah, it's really close. The Note 20 Ultra is still really solid device here. So what do you guys think here? You just have the big upgrade, cameras, battery life, really. I think that's the two central upgrades that you're making a decision off of. So be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.